Okay, so now it's my pleasure to welcome to the dais Ms. Anna Schulberg, Director of the European Counter-Terrorism Center, Europol. Anna is the head of the European Counter-Terrorism Center at Europol. With over 25 years of experience in Sweden's security service, her expertise covers a broad spectrum of counterterrorism activities. She has held various executive roles, including the head of the operations at the Swedish Security Service, and has managed significant incidents such as the 2017 terrorist attack in Stockholm. Schulberg is noted for her mission-focused leadership and strong emphasis on networking. And we know we can depend on you to protect the Jews of Sweden. That's a really important thing, because I think we in Israel, the Jewish and democratic state, we're very concerned about the safety of the Jewish community in Sweden, especially in Malmö. We have students from Sweden who study here, and they talk about the anti-Semitism they had to face. They talk about the fact that they had to take down their necklaces with a Magen David on them. So we know we can depend on you to protect the Jewish community of Sweden. That's so important for us. The floor is yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to be here in Herzliya today and represent Europol as the head of European Counter-Terrorism Center, the ICTC, a position I took up only 2 weeks ago, actually. As was mentioned in the presentation, I come from the Swedish Security Service, and I'm honored to have joined Europol in its commitment to multilateral efforts to fight terrorism. I refer upon operational partners, of course, but not only. I'm thrilled to address the 22nd International Conference on Counterterrorism, a key forum for security practitioners around the globe. Allow me to thank the organizers for the great hospitality. Every year, the International Institute for Counterterrorism brings together international agencies, state representatives, CT researchers, and experts, thus offering this community the opportunity to increase our collective knowledge and improve our operational response to current threats and challenges. Europol has been a regular participant for several years now. It is a sign of the importance the agency attaches both to its developing partnership with Israel in the wider region. It also speaks for Europol's commitments toward a regular dialogue with the academia. We need to share knowledge across traditional boundaries, between public and private sector, of course, and between CT community and academia. This is what this forum is for. Knowledge from the academia is vital for maintaining and developing the necessary level of methodological and scientific expertise on terrorism. Therefore, Europol's European Counter-Terrorism Center has established an advisory network on terrorism and propaganda, a platform for knowledge transfer into the area of counterterrorism between researchers, law enforcement, policymakers, and Europol. One of the aims of our outreach to academia is to create opportunities for new avenues for exchange. For example, when selecting speakers, we try also to identify researchers at the start of their career who work on topical projects relevant to the CT community. It is my intention, as head of the European Counter-Terrorism Center, to continue to support the establishment of common culture of cooperation and exchange in view of increasing our society's resilience against terrorism. I would like to continue with a snapshot into the current terrorist threat in Europe, which will hopefully set the scene for the dedicated panel, discussion panel later. Every year, Europol produces an EU terrorism situation and trend report, the TSAT. The report is public and can be consulted in full on our website. The summary document is available in 23 languages. It's important to underline that this is an EU perspective, while the report compromises a chapter on terrorist situation outside the EU. The data collection and the analysis concern essentially EU member states. The threat of terrorism remains a key threat to European Union's security, and the jihadist terrorism is still viewed as the most prominent threat within the EU. In the EU, affiliation to particular groups, such as IS and Al-Qaeda, is becoming less prominent among supporters of jihadism. In 2022, several member states reported that jihadist suspects were collecting and disseminating propaganda material originating both from IS and Al-Qaeda, including some predating the separation between the two terrorist organizations. The internet and technology remains pivotal enablers of propaganda, as well as radicalization and recruitment of vulnerable individuals into terrorism and violent extremists. Terrorists with different ideological backgrounds increasingly share common topics on digital environments, and we can expect the demarcation between the ideologies to continue to become more blurred in the coming years. We also observe this trend in the area of terrorism financing. All terrorists continue to exploit legal and illegal sources of funds for financing their activities. We note in particular that terrorist organizations increasingly use digital currencies and virtual asset service providers as they provide higher level of anonymity for donors and recipients. Lone actor remains a key threat, and the release of radicalized individuals from prison remains a major concern for the member states. As a general trend, terrorist groups may be taking advantage of the increased opportunities for self-radicalization to manipulate lone actors to commit attacks, including young or vulnerable people in our societies. Also drawing on geopolitical developments, jihadist groups continue to seize opportunity to advance the vision of global jihad, especially by portraying Islam and the Muslims community as under attack by the West. Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, for instance, united the jihadist front in condemning the double standards in the way the West reacted to the conflict, as well as the lack of empathy for the predicament of Muslims in other conflicts elsewhere. The war in Ukraine also marked propaganda in the right-wing extremist sphere. Right-wing extremists supporting either side grounded on their online propaganda on the three topics: white supremacy, nationalism, and anti-Semitism. As a result, the right-wing extremist online landscape is fragmented on these topics. This division of narratives has broadened the discourse, and that is possibly appealing to wider audience. Disinformation and distorted narratives are likely to be used by terrorism and violent extremists to further polarize societies. Since the outbreak of war in Ukraine, the rule-based democratic international community has gathered around Ukraine and showed a united front in supporting Ukraine. The CT community must remain alert to any groups or individuals who use the context of war to orchestrate terrorist attacks in Europe. Another trend I would like to highlight is the concern expressed by some member states regarding the potential further proliferation of environmental extremist or eco-terrorism. This is something that we will keep monitoring. Terrorism is certainly a difficult but important topic to talk about because it concerns human lives. The victims of terrorist attacks, the survivors, their family, they deserve justice. Terrorism has also great impact in society. Its goal is to create fear and fragmentation, which create reactions, sometimes overreactions from states and societies, which in turn creates even more polarization, radicalization, and opportunity to recruit people willing to attend terrorist attacks or terrorist acts. To stop this negative circle or trend, we need to have a relevant knowledge and awareness to be able to take the right measures to counter terrorism. Fighting terrorism remains a priority for Europol and for the European Union. We will continue to work closely with all our partners in order to mitigate terrorist threat to the community, and we will do this by denying terrorists the means and limiting their space to plan, to finance, and to carry out attacks, by countering radicalization, and by enhancing information exchange and police cooperation. Europol has already contributed to strengthen and improving international cooperation in the area of counterterrorism through the development of tailor-made support to EU law enforcement agencies. Europol strives to innovate and reorganize its models for operational support so as to respond to the evolving needs of member states. Europol has a new strategy which holds the telling title, Delivering Security in Partnership. In the coming years, Europol will carry out its mandate by focusing on 6 strategic objectives. Be the EU criminal information hub, deliver agile real-time operational support, be a platform for European policing solution, be the relevant partner together for cross-border cooperation and joint actions. Be at the forefront innovation and research, and be the model EU organization for law enforcement cooperation. And to do that, we aim at making information sharing in real time easier for law enforcement agencies using the latest technological advances embedded in strong data protection framework. Our innovation lab, in its structured connection to EU member states, serves as a good foundation for well-coordinated collective innovation in the coming years. We support the investigation in all aspects of the criminal business model, including logistic, communication, criminal finance, including cryptocurrency tracing. We will seek, where relevant and possible, to invest in platforms that can contribute to operational coordination between partners. It goes without saying that in order to effectively address global challenges, we need to enhance international partnership and pursue closer ties with key partners and regions, such as MENA region and countries. In pursuing this goal, we should see particular solution for a more targeted operational cooperation with strategic third partners with the applicable framework, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot has been achieved in counterterrorism in Europe, and of course, much more can always be done. We all, in our respective field, have the responsibility for maintain the dialogue and build bridges in order to become stronger before the terrorist threat. Thank you very much for your attention.